walking on the moon. Get higher than this crypto boom. I stake a lot cause yields consume. Hex. Be back with big gains real soon. Yeah. I just wanna go to Hex and go now. Hex and names postal simple. Wow. This chain so rich and unconventional. No doubt your feel should be real flexible. I just wanna go to 369. And now, the game's on the rise. No more day shift, we're losing our patience. We're back to the basics. Send me to the oasis, just max yield spinning. So we're staking that hex and then we count it like this till we're wasted. We're wasted, elevated, just got off the magic carpet ride. See you later, all you haters, as we glide. We stake hex up to 50 at 5, maximum yields inside. Richer coming back, freedom from the polar tide. PulseX burning, AEST riding away from Tokyo to LA. Join us in the land of the greatest decentralized chain. Be brave, be bold. The chain's so bright. Yeah, Puerto Rico never felt so right. Vroom, vroom.
G'day, and welcome everybody to the Crypto Happy Hour. Today we have our old mate Base Radiant and special guest, the Duke of Booze. How you guys going, gents?
Good, thanks.
Thanks
for having me on.
Of course. Thank you for being a loyal supporter of the channel and of Hexaco in general. I often see you retweeting and commenting, and Corey Geary and all sorts of other streamers and things. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, I've been a big fan of the Down Under show for years. Blue Bun and OG 40. I forget
43 OG. Yep. And Blue Bun. Yep.
OG. Yeah, and I really enjoyed the show because it was back in the early days in 2020 and 2021 or whatever. They offered a lot of different insight, and
they're smart guys.
Different points of view often, which was really good. They challenged each other a lot. Good show.
Yeah, especially if Tangent was on the late show. There'd be some bit of back and forth.
Sammy at times too. Yeah, she was
it was good.
Regular often.
Yeah, no, I love the late show as well. And yeah, we definitely, Aussies like a bit of banter. We don't take things too seriously. And but yeah, it's good to have different opinions, different points of view sometimes. Yeah.
And you guys have the coolest intro, always the funniest little, something odd that just makes me laugh.
Awesome.
One time.
Look, I can't take credit for most of the stuff we rip off other people. So shout out to all the other content creators out there whose stuff we steal. But yeah, good to have you on, man. Good to see you in the flesh. How you been, Base Radiant?
Yeah, good. Busy. I've been working, so I was coding, vibe coding lots of stuff simultaneously. Okay. So like while one prompt is going, I'm cooking up another one.
Wow, the dev's cooking. I love it.
The dev's cooking.
Yeah. Is it something mysterious that you have to keep on the down low? Or?
There's a couple things. I mean, there's nothing you'd really be interested in except one, and I can't talk about it just yet.
Yeah, awesome. All good. Look, there's plenty of stuff to chat about.
Very soon. Maybe next week. 1 week.
That's cool. 2 weeks, because this is a fortnightly show, so it's always the perpetual 2
yes,
weeks.
2 weeks. Right.
So yeah, look, a lot of people have been crying and saying that the crypto cycle is over, and that it's, it's the end of days and all this sort of stuff. And we have just been hodling like chads and just saying, maybe put your pants back on, like it's all going to be okay. And I think there's a lot of evidence to suggest that we are going to be okay. People just get a bit overly emotional. So there's a lot of bull market peak indicators. My favorite is like the pure multiple, the pi cycle top indicator, these sort of things. None of these have triggered. So, the alt season index. Oh, that has triggered. Okay, so there's that alt season index when it's above 75. That seems to me like an arbitrary thing, I must admit, in the previous. When we had alt week, like Shark Week, that time in November last year, that was the only one that went. So look, we might be seeing the very early stages of alt season, but I think we've heard it so many times now that we've got a bit of, PTSD. No one really wants to claim alt season. But what you can do, I guess, is you can look at the Bitcoin dominance. And if you zoom out, it certainly has broken down. So the Bitcoin dominance has just been murdering all of the other cryptos. And then it went to retest this fib line and then didn't. And it's just broken down and down and down. So in theory, this is pretty much what alt season looks like, is when you have a breakdown in the Bitcoin dominance. So we're still, we have seen ETH, go up quite a bit. It was 1800, right? We kind of forget. This is not in a hugely long period of time. This was down at 1300. I've like mentally blocked that out, but yeah, it went down to like say 1400. And then this is only in 21 weeks, and it's now up to 4,500. So I guess this is the ETH BTC, breaking out of this downtrend, and this is technically what we were hoping for alt season. And a lot of people, expected ETH BTC to make newer highs and all this sort of stuff. And I was sort of firmly on this idea that we're going to get diminishing returns. So the ETH BTC ratio went from, I think it was up at around 0.16, and then it went down to 0.016, and then it went. So that was in 2017, and then so 2021 it went to 0.08, which was pretty much the 50% mark. And a lot of stuff gets like rejected off the 50%. If it kept going, then sure, it could have gone up to the 1.618, but it didn't. And then so now I'm thinking we're probably only going to get to the 50% again, and then I'll reassess. So, you have to see what Bitcoin is at the time, but if you get around about a 0.05 times, if say Bitcoin tops out at 180, it's like 9K Ethereum. So that's where I'm sort of targeting ETH BTC ratio of about 0.05. But a lot of people will just, say, oh, we'll go back up and higher and all this sort of stuff. I'll believe it when I see it. But yes, there's been all sorts of things happening this week. Obviously, 9/11 yesterday. So condolences to the US folk for that sort of a tragic sort of anniversary. And of course, the
Charlie Kirk
Charlie
was assassinated
Kirk
on the 10th.
assassination.
Yeah,
Charlie Kirk assassination. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was terrible. So, I don't want to dwell on it too much because it is a bit sad, and I must admit it sort of
rough.
upset me a bit more than I thought it would. I was talking to Jexa about it, and I was sort of saying it sort of felt it was an attack on freedom of speech, because Charlie Kirk was such a huge proponent of a discourse, like open discourse. He'd literally just set up
to anyone.
on campus.
It was always open invite.
Yeah. So whether you agreed with every single thing he said, that's not the point. The point was that he wanted to start a dialogue, like a conversation, and then if your logic, if your argument was good, I felt like he would concede. But he was a really good debater, and so it just came across as him just slaying people all the time. But I think he was actually quite fair, I think, in a lot of his arguments. And I mean, I didn't agree with everything he said, but I still want to respect his right to say it.
For sure.
Absolutely. I think that's
interesting.
Really...
An interesting note. Richard Hart believes code is freedom of speech as well, and sort of fought along his, I think he's fighting a hell of a battle himself. And it's
100%.
weird how that's always attacked. Freedom, that speech, is a big deal.
I think it's something to be protected. We don't really have it here in Australia as a on our constitution like you do in the US, but
No.
I still think it's a tenet
And
that
it sucks.
it sucks big time. But I feel like it's something that we should try and foster and protect as much as possible, and talk about it. When people kind of infringe on other people's rights. There's a really interesting quote from Ricky Gervais, and I'll probably butcher it, but I'll paraphrase it. It's something along the lines of, how arrogant must you be to think that you deserve to go through life without hearing anyone else like oppose your view, or not like something that you say. So that idea, I think, is quite important, because even though people may disagree with what you're saying, you can still have a respectful conversation and say, okay, I can see where you're coming from, the context of, your upbringing or your culture. I disagree, but we're both going to move on, and we maybe learn something from each other's like points of view. But I certainly would never have the arrogance to assume that no one is ever going to disagree with me, and then if they dare to disagree with me, then they should be shut down. Like that's some kind of delusion if you think that your opinion is so important that no one else's should even be voiced. So
marriage changes a lot. If you've been married a while or have kids, you learn a lot about other people's point of views or how to get along with them.
Yes.
Big time.
Well, just different cultures. If you travel around the world, you've got to be respectful of the country that you're in. Sometimes the different countries have different laws, and you sort of think, okay, well, I have to be slightly respectful because I'm in their country. And I would hope that people do the same thing when they come to Australia or wherever. You respect the laws of the culture that you're in. But yeah, I don't think that you should really just enforce your opinion on others and not give them a chance to at least present their side of the story or their argument. And then you let like logic decide, like the merit decide, like a meritocracy where you have the merit of your argument.
Well, it's the dialogue, right? It's the finding common ground in the middle.
Mm.
I don't know. I'm lagging, sorry. One sec.
That's cool. I can still hear you. Your voice wasn't lagging. So yeah, anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Feel really bad for Charlie Kirk's wife and 2 children, and that's kids, that's the human side of it, isn't it? It's like, okay, yeah, you disagree with someone's opinion, that's great, but this guy's got a family, and he's now his kid's growing up without a dad. So yeah, it's a bit of a tragedy. It's a tragedy. So anyway, let's not dwell on it too much, otherwise we'll just be crying into our drinks. Have you got any booze today, Duke? Oh, he does. Is that a whiskey?
It's a Scotch. Yeah, it is.
Nice. What type of Scotch?
I have a few, and I don't know which one I poured this time.
Sure.
To be honest. Yeah.
Nice. No, I love Scotch. I'm a big McLaren fan. McLaren fan. McLaren. I like F1, but No,
Oh,
Macallan.
okay.
There's the 12-year-old, 18-year-old Macallans. That's what my
It
brother
might
and
be
I.
what I might be drinking. I can't remember, but and then I like some other flavors that are unique. There's certain ones like I like Bruichladdich a little bit too, and
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I
some
mean,
of the smaller distilleries and
so I mean, I'm normally a Scottish sort of Scotch whiskey sort of guy, but I do like Kentucky bourbon, Kentucky whiskey, that sort of stuff as well. I've even had Japanese whiskeys are nice and all that sort of stuff. The only ones I don't really like are I think it's the island of Islay in Scotland, like because you got Highland, Lowland, but I think it's the Islay ones that are really smoky, like super smoky.
okay.
That's the only ones that I'm like, like I'll drink them.
It's an acquired taste, and I gotta admit, I don't really first like it, but once I'm in it, it's like I'm addicted to that flavor almost. But if I was to just pick a drink, rum is my favorite booze
Really
to drink straight up. Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
real rum fan, and and I like a lot of the rums from different islands. Yeah.
You had Bundaberg rum, which is an Aussie rum.
I don't have not. No.
Oh, it's
No.
brutal. It's like, it's harsh. Like you
Oh,
have to
then
mix
no
it with something.
thanks.
It's like it's got like a polar bear or something on it that anyway, I don't know why it's got a polar bear for because if it's made in Queensland, but it's brutal. Anyway, yeah. I like Kraken. I like some of those sweeter rums.
Oh, no, I make sure there's no added sugars to my booze. I'm very critical.
Gotcha.
I'm kind of crucial as to the grain they're grabbing from or what type of grain they're using. I don't mind
Right.
blended whiskeys either, like Scotch as a blend either. Like I'm not a snob in those departments at all, but
Chivas
I
Regal and
am fussy with the farmer for sure.
yeah, so I don't mind the blend because single barrels are best, but if you've got a blend, sometimes it's like a 12-year-old blend, but you might have 18-year-old, 20-year-old, 24-year-old scotches in there, but they have to limit it by the younger scotch that's in there. So you can get some nice blends. I mean, I don't really like Dimple, but I do like Shivers. So, but yeah, I'm pretty much like, if you offer me any kind of booze, I'll pretty much say yes. So I'm not that discerning. Which is a bit of a worry. Let's just say hello to the chat. What is up, Blobfish? Oh yeah, LFG for sure. What is up, Jerry? Happy Friday. I think Class is in the house as well. What's up? She's literally in the house. I don't think she's streaming this weekend because she's working. Yes, like and subscribe, peeps. And that's about it. Wow. Bit quiet in the old Hexaco. That's cool. Look, we've got a fair bit to talk about. So I just wanted to quickly shout out this tweet from Richard Hart. He said, they yelled scam at HEX to 10,000x. I wonder if they'll do it again.
Yeah, that got me bullish.
Yeah. I think everyone just went, what?
Yeah, he's like talking old Richard, and holy crap, I've changed completely that one tweet. I never thought something like that would impact me the way it did. Lo and behold,
that's literally me having to lock in, like just tilt the chair forward a little bit, because I think Ivan on Tech had even been saying that Richard needed to start saying that, HEX to 10,000x and all this sort of stuff. And he's literally, he's implied it, because obviously there's a litigious side of things where you've got to be a little bit careful of like making liable statements. But he said, he's implied that they yelled scam at HEX to 10,000x. It did the 10,000x. I wonder if they'll do it again, implying that if it does the 10,000x again, maybe they'll yell scam, or maybe they'll just yell scam either way. So it's an interesting phrasing.
No, yeah.
But I'm here for it. He's been doing a lot of sort of bullish tweets, And so, that's a slightly different one. But yeah, he was talking about market cap and really sort of saying that, HEX should be right up there on some of these market cap ranking sites. Like if you're going to take market cap as a metric, which you could argue is sort of maybe a flawed metric, because it depends on the liquidity, right? Like if you just have 1 trillion coins and you make a $10,000 liquidity pool and then trade them at $1 each, it's $1 trillion market cap, but there's still only 10 grand worth of liquidity, or probably less. Yeah, if it's two-sided. So whereas with the OA, even though those coins are sort of not tradable, they're not in liquid, like they're not in liquidity pools. The OA technically has a massive quantity of coins which are worth a ridiculous amount of money, so that the market cap of HEX is extraordinary. But it also depends. I notice, like, some people like to flex that market, the market cap is really high, as saying that it's a good thing, and sort of saying, well, hang on, we should be ranked in the top 100 or whatever, because look at our market cap. So if I include the OA, market cap of HEX is 7.5 billion, Inc 86 million. God damn, is that right? Market cap of PulseX is 4.2 billion, and the market cap of Pulse is 6 billion. Market cap of Inc was 86 million. Sorry.
Yeah, the OA has no ink, so it's
right? Yes, of course. Yeah. Sorry. So the numbers are HEX 7.5 billion, PulseX 4.2 billion, and Pulse 6 billion, and Inc is only 86 million. So that's if you include the OA. If you exclude it, I guess it depends on how you look at it, because it's high on the ranking, therefore it should be worth more, because like just through inference that like it's higher on this arbitrary ranking site, so therefore you should value it more. And it comes down to your definition of value then as well, and what people speculate things are worth. Or you could look at it and say, it's actually got a low market cap. If you exclude the OA, it's only 1.17 billion for HEX. PulseX is only 580 million. So therefore it's got a lot of room to move. Like it hasn't really pumped up yet. So I guess it depends. Narrative. All good.
I think the question is the OA in the same situation as Satoshi, because we count Satoshi's tokens for Bitcoin, and with HEX there are, we're not. So then the question is,
yeah, great point. Where do you draw the line with Satoshi's coins? I mean, it's, what is it, 1% of the supply? It's pretty big.
Something. And HEX stakes aren't counted as part of the, because they're technically burnt briefly or whatever it is in the eyes of the market cap.
Sure.
So they don't exist.
Yeah, so I guess it depends on what narrative you're trying to spin, because some people will look at meme coin charts and they'll go, this market cap's, only 10 million, or so therefore it's, going to do better. I tend to just think it doesn't really matter. It's like the vanity metric thing. But some people do, which I think is why Rich was, he kind of had the same vibe. I noticed, like he was sort of saying, let me see if I can pull it up here. He was sort of saying, since the vast majority of HEX supply is locked 15 years, market cap, so it's considered pretty wrong. Here's the current minted supply, 47 billion. That supply at a penny would be like 130 to 200 on various coin ranking sites. And then the price you can buy at or sell at is the most important number. You can't place an order on the market cap chart. you can't place an order on the volume chart, but you can actually trade the price. The more you know. So yeah, he's kind of got that. Really, if you can buy low, and almost implying that the price is gonna go a lot higher, like that's the thing that counts, not so much these random metrics. The other one that I thought was interesting, because he has been tweeting up a storm, like credit's due. He's been quite active. He said that I've heard lots of folks move to Dubai for safety, and they have a 0% tax on personal income, I hear. They put people in jail for many years for anything illegal to do with drugs, and being rude is literally illegal, I think. Many crypto people go to Puerto Rico because it's an American territory, and I've heard you can get capital gains taxes to 0% there, although it's not as safe from crime as Dubai. Google it. So I thought that was interesting, because he's got that classic way of sort of saying some people move to Dubai and they have a 0% tax on personal income. I hear. Like, he's not making any declarative statements. He's just saying what he's heard, that some people move there. And it makes me wonder, is he in Dubai? Because
well, I don't think his castle was in Dubai. Not to dox him or anything, but
no, I think he's, well, I think
he could be anywhere though. Where in the world is Richard
Of
Heart?
course. That's right.
Yeah.
Carmen San Diego. Look, I think because of the Interpol thing, he was in Poland, living above a sandwich shop, which was just like, that's using your noggin, you know. That's efficiency right there. Like, let's live above a sandwich shop. That way I don't have to walk far to get a sandwich. That sounds like something RH would do. So, but whether the castle or whatever thing, I don't know. And where he is now, I guess, is anyone's guess. But if it does turn out that he is in Dubai and that he's talking about people living in Dubai, then that's kind of bullish, because it kind of implies that he's not terribly worried about this Interpol flood, almost as if it's coming to a conclusion. Like there's some back channels maybe between the Finnish government and his team of lawyers, or something like that. I mean, it's speculation, right? But it just seems like he's a little comfortable talking about where people might live.
It's good.
Maybe that's where Hexaco will be.
In Dubai.
Yeah. Maybe that's the little nod. I don't know. I never thought of speculating it, but I didn't put much thought into the.
It's hot. I've been to Dubai, and
yeah,
I remember getting out of the plane at like 7 a.m. and it was like 40 something degrees, which is over 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah,
and I'm thinking it's pretty early in the morning for it to be this hot. But yeah, I guess if you're living in some, palatial oasis with air conditioning and like a ski resort out the back, then it doesn't really matter what the temperature is outside.
Your indoor all season house or apartment
sanctuary
complex.
Yeah.
That's it.
They literally have like some sort of skiing facility in Dubai.
At the top of a building. And I've heard of that.
I'm not sure where it is, but I've seen them, and it's just like skiing slopes, and you're kind of going, okay, I guess there is a point where you,
with enough money, you
so
can
much
do
money.
anything.
Yeah, but there, anything you can imagine, you can
anything.
Literally. What is up, Relax Finance? How much time in your lives have you guys wasted talking about PulseChain? Ooh, I could pretty much tell you, because we're 99 episodes deep. So
right.
Like an hour. Let's say 2 hours. So like literally 200 hours.
We do more wasting in our private times too.
I think in 2020, And 2021, I bet you I watched more 8-hour streaming and videos. So
Okay.
the last 3 years hasn't been anywhere near the first few for how much hours I've put into watching.
Yeah.
Mm.
Look, that's a real positive sentiment there. Cheers for that. You don't sound very relaxed, just quietly. But believe it or not, sometimes it's nice just to chat to people and enjoy your life and, talk about things that we enjoy. So, yeah. And also, we're here for the green candle tech. So maybe one day it'll all be worth it and we'll be able to go skiing in Dubai. Who's to say? But yeah, let's, try and keep the positive vibes going. I do sometimes wonder why I stream, and particularly because of comments like that. So yeah.
I'm
But
glad
like,
you guys do.
if we don't do it, then who else? It's that old thing of like, you've got to lead by example. And if you want to
That's it.
see a
That's it.
positive change in the world, then you have to be that positive change. Like, you have to
You have
do
to
it.
stand up.
You have to
Otherwise,
stand.
no one
Yeah,
will
you
do
have
it.
to. You have to vote with your, with your wallets, and you have to vote with your actions. And if you want to be entertained by people speculating on the coins that you hold, then maybe you should do it too. And that's why, Duke of Brews, that's why you've stepped up to the plate. And I feel like that's awesome that you've kind of come out swinging and making yourself public, and you're talking about maybe even doing a channel yourself.
Yeah, it's in my thoughts to do something, but I don't think quite yet. It involves sort of onboarding people via meme coin and getting people to create their own meme coin for family and friends idea. So it wouldn't be something that they would make public. It's something they would actually like hoard it to themselves as much as they could, so they could influence the rate of growth. Because you know how if you get too many people in early that they see a 10x, they hurt the chart and hurt the income. So I've gotten quite a few family and friends and different people into tokens, and they're using it for college fund, retirement stuff, and they're just pegging it against PulseChain, and works out really well. So yeah, and I'd like to show people more how to do that, how to pair liquidity, how to grow it on their own, let it do its own work like a mutual fund. And I think it's a great way to onboard. I've onboarded, I'm getting close to 6 figures since Pump Tires launched. And I don't know how many different meme coins, maybe 8. Yeah, probably about 8 for different people that you'll never see on the chart or anything. So yeah. That's kind of the fun part. And I'm also trying to hope to get streamers to create meme coin as well, and get them to use it where they would pair it with USD. And then that way, instead of us buying super chat, we would just buy your meme coin, and we actually would have a souvenir or an asset. So it's like, and then would entice us to share the people, and many of us like to see new talent in the music industry as well. So I'm trying to work in the music business with this a little bit as well. And so they too use the coin by them. It's like you donate, look at, you're donating. The only thing is that you have to watch out for popularity when you get bad actors and whales doubling the price of the supply. So you kind of need your token to have quite a bit of value to prevent some of that. So
and
because it's early, I'm
like be able to capture all the value, right? The idea is not to sell all at once.
Right? The idea is not to sell anything at all at the beginning. It's like you're constructing a business, and you want to own as much of your token as possible. And then what you do with it, what you pair with it. Yeah. And in the early days of HEX, we learned a lot. And this is a great thing that I need to learn out loud. I need to learn it with people, because there's so many dynamics. I've used AI a lot to help me, but yeah, there's a lot to learn, and I'm hoping I can influence more people to learn with me.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting idea. And I remember you chatting with What the Hex guys. So shout out to DJ Cryptomatic and Papa B and those guys. And I remember you were sort of talking about how in a bull market, and not everyone has actually been through a bull market. I sort of forget, but the super chats get extreme. Like even if you go back to like the last stream that I think Richard was on with Ivan on Tech, I was just hammering super chats, and because it was a good way of getting your comment shown. And I was actually wanting to ask like Richard like about like ink and stuff, because this is before PulseChain launched, right? And I was sort of thinking, oh well, you know, what other ways can we? Because he talked about incentive tokening as not being of having a function or utility, and I was also thinking, well, maybe there's some way that you could give ink utility. So like if you bridge across and you've got some ink, it gave you a deduction on the bridging fee. I had some ideas and things like that, and I remember, I was just like, that was a good way to actually get your question in front of Richard's sort of face, because you could just throw in a super chat, and everyone was just throwing around hundreds and hundreds of dollars, not caring, and then you forget in a bear market that almost doesn't exist. But that's maybe a good metric of when you start seeing people just dropping like $500 super chats like on the regular, that maybe you're at the top.
I'm not as generous as I was before, but I still sort of have a monthly stipend that I put out to super chats throughout the ecosystem. And
well done.
I do the Wolf of Wall Streets or those people, you know, like when there's the right comment and I'm in the, it's just awesome. A way to advertise. And like I said, I look at HEX as a business, you know, and because we locked up tokens early on, that's why HEX is my baby. You know, it was one of those few cryptos that locked up a lot of the inflation at the beginning. So I think that's why we had such a good run and why we will recover, you know, like, you know, we are way down. So we do have to look at it as a recovery, not because we didn't do what we expected.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think the HEX mechanism of locking up coins, it kind of, you start to see now with Solana and all of these sort of, I'll just call them shit coins that come out on Solana, where the main motivation is maximum value extraction. So they just are literally trying to get the most out of the audience, which is a terrible thing. And you have sniper bots, which just the second the liquidity is added, they just buy up the supply and then just like algorithmically dump. So in order to really combat that, you really need some sort of, either you need some mechanism to stop that sort of sniping on launch, but you also by locking coins up, you prevent that sort of immediate dumping, because some charts just won't recover from that, and it just kills that coin. So whereas HEX had that mechanism in there that it did lock up a lot. So then if you wanted to emergency end stake, you had to pay a huge penalty.
The token you mentioned a couple of weeks ago, Vouch as an example, you had Jaxa on, and so from the people that got the airdrop, they're up quite a bit. So you see the chart sort of paused at this point in time because a lot of those people take profits. But the way it's actually gradually gone up, the chart is allowing this 10x run from where it's sort of horizontal. There's about 10x run, and you can see that group doesn't seem to be selling, even though there's been a lot of profit taking in that zone. And so the next leg up, you're going to see people that are up 100x, and that's where this is where this ecosystem is similar to HEX, is that I think a lot of people will want to hold their tokens longer and not give up their position, because there seems to be a mechanism to keep it in play and keep it going, and it benefits the whole ecosystem from what I see so far.
Look, it's up nearly like 8,000% in 3 weeks. So look, we talked about it, and
thank you.
Frank White, bang bang, Pulse Gang. He knows what's up. So, and Jerry, of course, looking into the vouch protocol. Yes, I mean, of course, we've looked into it. Like we had Jexa on talking about it for over an hour. So I feel like we kind of got people in early on that one.
Yeah, you got me in early. Thank you.
No worries. And I think what you said is that maybe some people who airdropped it, dumped it down on this first day, maybe they're regretting it now because it's just turned on the afterburners and it's just been going from strength to strength. In saying that, it has sort of had 3 waves of going almost parabolic. So it'd be interesting to see whether it can sustain this, because it is just going absolutely gangbusters. But it's up 27% again for the day. So these are not small numbers, right? Like to be up 27% in a day on something that was already, up like 6,000%. Because even if you go to like here, like it was already up 6,500%. So, I mean, what's that? That's like a 65x, right? Yeah. Holy crap. So, I mean, even in terms of Pulse, because Pulse has been going up in that time, it's done like a 65x in 3 weeks. So it's no joke. Like, people having a bit of a cry in the chat. I'm talking to you, Relax Finance.
He doesn't sound relaxed at all.
We're wasting our time, bro, just getting 65x's in 3 weeks. No worries, mate. Have fun staying poor. So yeah, there are actually ways to make money around here, and some of us are doing it. So yeah, I'm not going to, apologize for that one. That one I think was one that we called. And look, we don't always get them right. Sometimes, it's a bit of a mixed bag and tokens don't do well. But because we know Jaxa and we trust, the founder's not in it for maximum extraction. He's not just going to dump his tokens at the team. I think that actually goes a long way. And it's sort of shown that the early adopters have been diamond handing it, and they just smashed out like a 60x in a few weeks. So massive respect to those guys.
Yeah, it's just a question of when the $100 people have, $10,000 or $14,000. That's when you start to see heavy dumping. And this is a problem all tokens run the risk of. That's part of the first mover advantage. And this is what's made crypto so. It's not crypto that's being used so well. That's why I like Vouch token, because this is where crypto comes into play, and the buying dynamics, as we can see, it's probably a best place to use market cap is with the liquidity. If the market cap is a 10 million and the liquidity is only 14,000, you definitely know something's out of whack.
That's a good point.
Too many coins out there to even maybe get in, unless they're locked or, burned or something like that. That sometimes is a good place to use it. And I see even with this Vouch token, the liquidity is quite decent with the market cap. And there's quite a few liquidity pools. This one doesn't show all of the liquidity pools, I don't think.
It looks like there's about $182,000 of Rat Pulse in this pool. So $365,000 of liquidity in total. And look, I mean, I think that this is probably, going to have some sort of pullback. And I'm not saying that it's the top, but it's definitely done a massive run. So you can't expect it to keep going up forever. But maybe people who have said that on each one of these legs as well, they thought that it's over and it's going to go down, and then it's just done another and like another 2x and another 2x. And I feel like this is what happened with HEX. Once you have that sort of buy pressure, people don't want to sell because they can see it going up and they think, well, why would I sell today when it's just going to be 2x tomorrow? Like let's let it ride. And it just that attitude of not dumping can actually, in low liquidity coins, can just make them skyrocket.
But once the selling start, that's when the dominoes fall, because even in this case, yes. You said there's 170,000 in Pulse. I know of 10 wallets that have more than $17,000 of vouch in each of them. So if they all said, I'm out, there's no liquidity left. And that's how frail everything is at the beginning. That's why I also exercise caution and warn people all the time. Hey, as soon as you can, get your principal out.
Sure.
It's never bad advice, right?
Yeah. It's always a good advice. I mean, you can look at certain metrics. One thing that I tend to look at is even on the 4-hour chart. Like, this is like degen. Normally I'm looking on like weekly charts, but on the 4-hour, you can make sure it doesn't, if it closes below the 24-hour moving average, like it's normally the 20 week or the 20 day, but in terms of 4-hour increments, but I think it did close just below it there, and then pretty much reclaimed it there. So far, the moving averages are stacked, the 10, the 20, the 50. I would be concerned if it hit this line here, but so far so good. So yeah, no, it's, and I think one of the smart things that Dozza and the team did is that they announced the contract address before the launch. So it was a completely fair launch. And they added, I think it was $1 of liquidity, like in the week before the actual, so they could turn on, I think they could turn on the send feature. And maybe if Dozza is around, he can correct me, but I'm pretty sure, how like coins, you can have like a transfer function. So it's effectively locked to the wallet. So if they do an airdrop beforehand, you can't add liquidity or send and transfer until like the certain date. And that's the launch date. So, but by making a $1 liquidity pool before the launch, it meant that all the sniper bots that were passing all of these liquidity pools looking for that initial add liquidity, and then they try and ape that chart to buy up the supply, they all had blown their stack like a week before the launch, and there was only $1 worth of liquidity, so it just would have destroyed them in terms of slippage. But it actually stopped maybe those bots from being able to snipe the launch. Turns out that was
he explained that pretty good on RH Max's show. If you
okay,
explain that, yeah, and then I think it was paced out, and then they airdropped 1% to people that held VPLS token and things like that. So it was actually sounded like a pretty good setup that they did. I was impressed.
Yeah. Look, and also I guess the thing is, I haven't talked about the utility of the coin. We talked about it. Dozza explained it for over an hour 2 weeks ago, so I don't need to go over it. But the actual utility of it, being able to, like, if 32 million Pulse was about barrier to entry to become a validator, or if you technical know-how, if you're not familiar with Linux and scripts and things like that, if that was somehow a barrier, here's a way that you can pull your Pulse with and get V Pulse, which is effectively like getting the same dollars value back, and so you've got a liquid staking and you can get yield with it. And then now with Vouch, it's enabling, it's encouraging validators and for people to pull and all this sort of stuff. So I guess it's adding robustness to the network, increasing the decentralization factor of PulseChain. So I think it adds value apart from just being a speculation vehicle, it's actually doing something. So it has a commendable utility.
That's why I like it. I'm not if it doesn't do anything, I'm not interested. It's just, I'm not interested in the ink token as an example. You know, I farmed, I dumped it, I don't care about it, but other people love it. I don't understand why. I think it takes away from what we should be focusing on. And I think it's HEX and PulseChain, but you know, that's an opinion. And
Yeah.
you know,
what is up, Chris Klein? How you going there, bro? Good to see you're up pulling an all-nighter and catching it live. That's wicked. Yeah, so I think I saw when you were talking with DJ and the guys about how you actually came from a stock market trading background. Originally, you used to speculate on Amazon stock and the .com sort of era. So, and then I think what got you into HEX was more the fact that it had the CD aspect. But what struck a chord with me was that kind of looking for instruments in crypto that sort of mirrored maybe a legacy finance function, and that's what you thought would actually end up being successful. Is that right?
That's pretty much it. Yeah. Cause you know, I traded Bitcoin and stuff and wasn't really interested in it much. And then I started getting interested in holding Ethereum, but technically speaking, I had no interest in holding crypto because of just like how I explained to you, the dynamics of market cap versus liquidity. It honestly, you could see that it doesn't take much for somebody to pull the legs out from under it. And I was involved in penny stocks, and that's how they operate under the same principle. Oh, yeah. So first mover advantage is just such a risky play in anything. And that's why it's so crappy that so many people are using the crypto name in basically running, like, again, stocks are almost Ponzi-ish, you know, like at the beginning. Yeah, that's a bad word, you know, because it inflates so much in price and the market cap goes up. But like you said, there's not enough liquidity to pull it out if the first person takes out 50%. And when you launch a stock, almost everybody that launches it, if you went public and your channel went well, they'd probably tell you can't sell any shares for 2 years.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
And then it's kept by people that aren't going to be selling it for a few years. And that's what HEX did. So that's what made HEX like, oh, wow, this is a token that thought about that. And so it's treated like a business. And unlike Bitcoin, which has this cooperative sort of structure, I like much more a dynamic business approach. And that's why Richard was more attractive to me than that. Okay. The advantage Bitcoin has is that it took so long to rise up that it actually didn't have this real pump and dump on the same level we have on meme coins. Like a meme coin will inflate to million. Bitcoin didn't have that type of, it took years to get what I mean, or months, not week to reach what some of these tokens do. It just was much more gradual.
Yeah. And I mean, it has that first mover advantage. And I guess the Lindy effect of it having been around for so long gives it a sense of, I think, perceived value, because people tend to value things that have been around longer. HEX has now been around for a long time. You know, we're talking like 5 years. So it's not a. I think that actually adds a bit of credence when something has been around a while, particularly if HEX can regain its all-time high in this cycle, then if that's a hard metric to get, you know, to get something that will reclaim an all-time high in over multiple cycles, I think that actually is a great indicator of something's longevity, like Dogecoin and things like that. But yeah, the speculation on Dogecoin and that sort of stuff, that's just more just genuine speculation. But I think everything is a meme in a sense. Everything, like Bitcoin's store of value, like its meme has changed. It used to be peer-to-peer currency, and then now it's a store of value, it's digital gold. So that's its meme. But it's interesting to hear you talk about how the stock market is actually quite a bit more rigged than what people think as well, because I used to trade mining stocks. Like in Australia, we have like BHP and things like that. I used to day trade mining stocks. That's how I bought my first house, actually, was through day trading BHP stock. So because I had to get a deposit. And it was back in the day where you didn't have all of these tools available. So it was much more like, you know, rudimentary, let's just say. But I was still able to see when you had an impulse in a market and you had like a damped sinusoid, because I've got a physics background. I recognize some of these trends from physics principles into markets and in terms of energy and economic energy in markets. So I actually had a bit of an edge, I think, there that made me do quite well in mining stocks. But then over time, it became apparent that it was really influenced a lot by the macro, what was going on, and with the GFC at the time, and all these Greek banks just going under, and these massive sort of speculation things that were crumbling. Then it was like, okay, I gotta get out of this market. But I have since dabbled back in with stocks, and one of the things I noticed is that it's a lot more corrupt than what people think, because markets close, like traditional stock markets, and it sounds like I'm just saying something really basic, but that fundamentally is what's wrong with the stock market, and the differentiation between why crypto and why they're now tokenizing in terms of real world assets, like trying to tokenize the whole NASDAQ and put it on crypto, on blockchains, because there's a lot of aftermarket, I shouldn't say aftermarket, maybe pre-market or in between market trading that goes on, and it is rife with corruption. It is absolutely, it's despicable what they do. So when the say the ASX or whatever exchange or market closes, you can have a stock that will get priced outside of the market, maybe let's just say 5% lower, and then it'll open that day 5% lower, and then it will go up, say 3% or 5% even, and it will be lower than it was the day before, because a 5% drop is more than a 5% up. But it would be green. It would be like you've actually, oh, it's a green day. You're up 5% for the day, but it was actually losing money. So it's because of these intraday trading markets that I think a lot of these mining companies and things like that really exploited the fact that the market would actually close. And then you've got all of the IPOs and all these companies that would just literally do pump and dumps in terms of like mining companies, but because it's a stock market, it's like it's legit. Whereas if you do that in crypto, it's called a scam. So yeah, the stock market is a lot more dodgy than what I think people realize.
Well, getting a listing is expensive. So usually you go on a small exchange. Usually the mining stocks are on a secondary exchange or penny stock of some sort, and it's very speculative. So yeah, it's highly like, I mean, that's how crypto works too, though. Really, publicly traded is what really makes crypto fascinating, and being 24/7, not having institutions trading 30 minutes before you and 30 minutes after you close, like you said. Exactly. There's so many advantages that are not fair to us, and crypto levels that. And what makes crypto different, and this is what makes why I'm so excited about it, is this is the first time in history we can bond with almost anything and actually be able to cash in. So like I said, in the future, you'll have Amazon token, and you won't need to wait to get your money. You can actually just trade it for whatever USDC right in your wallet and look after it. And we're already able to do that with crypto. And so I think that's fascinating. And being able, like I said, to bond any bad asset or any asset can bond with something that's taking off.
Mm-hmm.
If you bond with Vouch token right now, and that was 50% of your liquidity, you're going to do quite well with your token.
Exactly. And what happens if Pulse does really, really well over the next, 6 months or whatever? How well is Vouch going to do? It's interesting to think about.
So if your meme coin is doing that, you see how you can attract your friends and family in, and they don't have to learn all this crypto jargon and all that crap. They just have to have a wallet, and it's worthwhile because it pays you to go and actually onboard people, because they're going to put in 5 or 10 grand because they're starting their own business and savings thing for their family. So it's quite neat.
The only pushback I would say about
I'm looking for more. That's what I'm hoping for. I want more pushback.
So my only pushback is when you become a coin founder, if you become a coin founder, you have to remember that this is tied, the price performance of this asset is tied to your name, and people will blame you for its performance, whether it goes up or down. Now, I know that you said before, the utility of this is more of like, rather than giving a super chat and half of it goes to YouTube, you're making a donation. So maybe people aren't actually in it for the price
you
go
tell
up.
them that.
So they know upfront that they're
I'm
not
taking money out.
This is you're using.
I will sell on your heads. That's what I would
tell. It's a donation. That's what your model sort of thing is.
That's one of the token ideas. Not, you know what I mean? This is what's cool about a token, is it can be many, many ideas. So think of a business is, when you go to a business, they're basically just boxes, like, right? You go down to your retail stores and they're just boxes. And then you have an idea of that something will sell in this box. And so you create it. And that's all a meme token is. It's a digital online business that you get to create, and people, you don't need to sell anything to people. Just being able to bond it actually is powerful. But to bring friends and family in a safer bet, and to outperform the layer one, is so simple in this case, because of how small amount of the token is, how little amount there is. Any buy will move the chart.
Yeah.
And if you're never planning on selling, like I'm never planning on selling all my PulseChain ever. And my Vouch token, I'll never sell all my Vouch token as long as the code works. Like, from what I understand it, why would I get rid of all my Vouch ever? It's not in my idea, my mindset.
Yeah. Look, I see what you're saying. Like, in terms of the meme coins can have different functions, and particularly I like the idea of the liquidity bonding, how you've paired it in what liquidity pools, because I think even one of the comments, someone was saying that Alex from Hedron was going to do something similar to Vouch. And then it's like, so maybe there are ways you can, if you think that something is going to go well, you can pool it with that. And I think there's been the PTGC guys have done that. The Atropa guys have done that in terms of utilizing the liquidity bonding aspect. And I think in terms of the RH assets, Hex, Pulse, PulseX, they're going to have a feedback loop where they are going to, when one starts to pump, they pull each other up. And that different ones are going to run at different times, and they're going to sort of pull each other up. I guess that's the upside of having a fragmented buying power, because that's the con, right? Like that's the negative, where people perceive like Ivan on Tech saying that, oh, we should just have one coin that we focus on, and now we've spread the purchasing power across, say, Hex, Pulse, and PulseX. And then that's the argument against the EHEX as well, is that you're spreading that buying power. But then it can also work for you, where people are buying different coins for different reasons and for different utilities, and then they pull each other up. It's just that we've been in a bear market. We've only seen price go down, so we see it as a negative feedback loop, but it can actually be a positive feedback loop as well. One other thing is, I thought this was an interesting video that I had previously sort of backed up here, and it's talking about a different maybe utility of meme coins?
So meme coins is two things. One is, can memetics have value over time, whatever? Of course they can, right? But it's a way of showing that and how the internet works, spreading memes, whatever. But that's not the big thing. What it is instant capital formation on a global scale, of a scale we've never seen, at a speed we can't even understand. And nobody sees it. That's what we're battle testing. And we're doing it via an internet native thing, which is a meme. But it's not about memes. Well, it is partly about memes, but really it's about how do you coordinate a vast distributed network to raise capital instantaneously.
So that was, I thought that was an interesting point. It's an instant capital formation.
Bang on.
At a global level. And it's like, yeah, in terms of it being a vehicle for that, where else in the world can you just literally within minutes get participants around the world to just pull their money, like hundreds of millions of dollars, into one asset, like even for a small amount of time? That is a phenomenal achievement. Like that in real time, that is pretty crazy that we as humans do that and then just immediately dump it.
All you have to do is spit on that thing and it goes up and down.
It's just, it is a bizarre function of meme coins if you think about it. But yeah, anyway, I thought that was an interesting one. Raoul Paul's got some really cool ideas about where crypto is heading in terms of dollar values as well. I'll just quickly play this while I remember.
By my work, we're a $4 trillion economy today in crypto. If we extrapolate trend rate of growth and assume the network growth slows over time, I think we get to 100 trillion by 2032, 2034. 100 trillion. That means there's 96 trillion of wealth that's going to get created. So halve me, and I say this all the time for being an utter moron, $46 trillion of wealth is about to be created. It's the largest wealth generation event in all human history. It's fractionalizable to a rice worker in the Philippines as it is to somebody in Fifth Avenue. It is an unbelievable opportunity. And to go back to it, you're front running the institutions and you get to do all of this.
Yeah, so there's your daily dose of hopium right there. Even if it gets to a measly $50 trillion market, there's still 46 trillion to go. So take what he says with a grain of salt. But
I remember how hard it was to convince people about a website and what it was and how great it was going to be. And, you know, I just see the same thing. Look at what a website is today.
Yeah. I mean,
easy to get to. Don't even think about typing in anything, you know.
I used to make websites on what was it called?
GeoSites?
GeoCities.
GeoCities, that's it.
Yeah, I used to make that.
Classic. That's
my own HTML code. Yeah.
With like the little GIF images of like skeletons and all sorts of like
that was the best.
GeoCities.
Yeah.
The internet was a great time back then.
It was. I used to be in ICQ and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I remember.
My last department, day trading. Oh, day trading. Okay, yeah. So Chris Klein was a day trader as well. XRP, ETH, and Sol, constantly and hustling. Test of nerves and keeping you cool while risking money. I needed. That's hilarious. Yeah, look, the thing about day trading is it can work, right? And yeah, you can spend all your day like literally applying strategies. And obviously Chris Klein has done well and many others, but the amount of time it takes out of your day to do that, you may as well just be working a job. Like you're actually spending a lot of time. It's like maybe you would make more money if you just went to work. Like maybe not, but there is a lot of time invested. Whereas I kind of like the idea of with HEX and assets that I believe, like Ethereum, for example, Bitcoin, you can just buy these assets and you just know that eventually you'll be able to sell higher. Like you don't have to try and trade them in and out. I mean, you can, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't, particularly like the other day, I noticed like Tron just did some massive dump. I don't know what the reason was. I think it was possibly because of the World Liberty Finance thing, how Justin Sun was selling some of his coins that that's right. I think he was selling coins that were in his exchange or that were like users, World Liberty Finance coins, because he's got frozen. And then for some reason, just Tron just dumped. But it's like you can buy these dips like on a low time frame, particularly if it hits support. Like I didn't really look at this that closely, but you could probably find some. I mean, it's kind of hit the 50-day moving average there. But yeah, you can basically buying dips. Like it sounds basic, but like long time frame support and buying dips. Like yeah, you can make money doing that. But yeah, you sort of just, it's hustling. It's kind of, it's trading. It's small incremental gains over long periods of time. It kind of adds up, but it does take a lot of your focus. But the interesting thing about that World Liberty Finance thing, how they froze Justin Sun's coins, is it's like people don't realize that there's fake DeFi out there. Like there's fake crypto. And it's like, yeah, most of your shit can be frozen. Like they didn't realize that, USDC, USDT, that Sky, these stable coins, they can just freeze that if they want to. And a lot of these contracts, the World Liberty contracts, they just decided that Justin Sun was a bad player for whatever reason. They froze all his coins. And to me, that just is mind-blowing because like that's not why we're in crypto, right? Like the whole reason why, if someone sort of says, why do you participate in this sort of blockchain world? And it's like fundamentally it comes down to the fact that if you self-custody your coins, no one can take that away from you. Whereas if you're relying on a bank, for whatever reason you say something that people don't agree with, they can shut down your bank accounts. Like if your money's on an exchange, the exchange can get hacked. Like it's not yours. Whereas if you have self-custody of it, then it's one of the very few things that you own in a sense. And technically, yeah, you don't own it. You just have the keys. You access to update a ledger. I get that in terms of maybe we don't really own anything, but it's the closest approximation to ownership that I can think of. Whereas people who are in crypto and then choose to buy something that can be frozen on them and then hold it for long periods of time, it's like, that's the antithesis of crypto.
That's awful.
I just don't understand it. Yeah. So yeah, get your coins off exchanges, get your coins out of middlemen, custodial platforms. Don't trust other people to hold your coins, and don't buy assets that can be frozen.
And Trezor Wallet, the Trezor One wallet is 50% off right now. I just got 3 for some new onboards, so it's a great deal, 50% off.
I heard that. I myself have a few Trezors, and I did hear that there is a 50% off Model 1 and the Model T. Well, there you go.
Oh, T, sorry.
Yeah, the T's are good. I mean, the Safe is also good, the Safe 5, but the T's are good. $100 Australian. There you go.
Okay, so the Model 1 is what I just got some onboards, but that doesn't work for XRP and a few other tokens.
That's still pretty cheap though. So $40 Australian is probably 25 US. That's very cheap.
Considering it was 80 Australian dollars just last month, then, right? Yeah, that's a lot.
So yeah, make sure you go to Trezor.io to get your hardware wallets. I think everyone knows that. Don't buy them from other sources. Get them from the manufacturer.
No.
Oh yeah, this is interesting. I had to sell some spot too, sold memes. That is the problem that's been happening, I guess, is even the strong hands who have been holding a lot of these assets, sometimes, you know, you might have house renovations or for whatever reason you need to sell something, and then you're forced to sell it like 99% down. So it's actually really hard for people to hold for these long periods of times. I feel like a lot of the economic value, economic energy is sort of being sucked out of the system by people having to sell the lows. So I feel like that is going to be an important factor when we start to pump up. There should be less sell pressure. I mean, it hurts for the people who do have to sell the lows. And I guess that's a lesson as well, that for everyone, that it's like, you need to be able to only buy things that you don't need to sell in the short term. Easier said than done, right?
Yeah, and financing's getting tighter already too. So if you're borrowing money, if you're doing rotating debt or stuff like that, everything is going up a percentage or two. Doesn't matter what you're doing. So it's best not to be.
Although
be careful.
Interest rate cuts on the 17th, maybe.
Yeah, but not lending. So the lending rate, like for people like credit card and all that, like, so anybody that had low interest in that division, that's sort of been spinning. It's been slowly upping. And I think it's part of the squeeze play, sort of like the housing interest rate. Let's squeeze people a little bit. Maybe it's a little bit of
look, I think what's been happening is, you know, the Federal Reserve has been at a loggerheads with Trump, and they've obviously been wanting to get the Fed to cut the rates for a long time, but now they're starting to see the inflation value numbers just came out recently, and they were, I think it was the PPI that was really low, like lower than expected. I might even have some numbers here. I think I made a note. But basically, it came in lower than expected, and then the US payrolls were revised by 911,000 jobs. So basically, that means that some of the assumptions that they made, because the Fed obviously has that dual mandate to keep the inflation low, also keep the unemployment rate low as well. So they have to balance. They have to, you know, keep the inflation low, but generally by having the rates up high. But if the rates go too high, then the unemployment goes up. So now that broke down because of the GFC. They basically bailed out all these banks. The US debt doubled overnight, and then because of COVID, they printed, I think, 40% of the total supply of US dollars in a 6-month period. Again, all this extra. So in terms of inflation, your inflation went up because your dollar value, your purchasing power went down, and because the debt was so high that when the interest rates went up to combat inflation, they can't afford to pay the premiums on the debt. So, yeah, I think it was like 40% of the annual IRS tax that they had was just to pay the interest on the debt, the 37 trillion. So there is a point where they basically, the US government can't afford to have the interest rates so high because the debt was so out of control. And now they're coming up with novel ways of doing treasury buybacks to sort of bring down their debt, and using stable coins and things like that, stablecoin backed treasuries, to sort of create a demand for their treasuries so they can print more dollars, again, to dilute the debt that they have. And we're seeing countries around the world. I think Japan has been printing, their central banks have been, like, the global liquidity has been going up. And I think we're about to start seeing sort of a new phase of quantitative easing in the US. So starting with the interest rate cuts on the 17th, which is like 5 days away. So yeah, this really does seem like there's going to be a good setup for a really nice Q4 in terms of alt seasons. So I hope everyone's packed their bags. And yeah, I mean, even just looking at the charts, like this is BTC on the daily was below the 20 MA here and below the 10. And then now they've just crossed over, right? So the 10 is above the 20 and the price is above both. And then the MACD also crossed over here. So this is an uptrend just starting. I mean, it started on the 8th. And it's literally just gone up from 111 to 115. So, I mean, I kind of called this sideways, but it was a little bit of a mini downtrend. But we'll see. Hopefully we can bust through the 120K and push on towards the end of the year up to 180K. And then I expect Ethereum to just do some really good things. So, oh yeah, look at Ethereum. It's just about to cross the MACD on the daily there as well. So maybe in a one or 2 days, I think we're going to see an uptrend, like a technical uptrend start for Ethereum as well. And there's been other alts as well. I mean, BNB's making new all-time highs. Has busted through the previous all-time high. I'd like to see that maybe retest a bit better on a longer time frame. But that could keep going. I mean, that's pretty manipulated, I think. Hype has been killing it. So I mean, I've been talking about this around since this 32 mark, where it retested the previous what is now support, and then it's just been going up ever since. So I think Hyperliquid has a good product market fit in terms of being a decentralized perpetual exchange with no KYC, and it's got a good ticker, right? Like Hype. So I think that's definitely one to watch. I think with Ethereum doing so well and continuing to do really well, hopefully up to 9,000, maybe some of the coins on Ethereum, like meme coins on Ethereum, should start to do well. SPX, maybe not so much, but maybe Pepe. I mean, the chart doesn't look great, but it could be just doing a bit of a convergence here of moving averages and about to start an uptrend. In fact, it looks like it's already started. So Pepe on Ethereum might be one to watch as well. And then I think, if Ethereum does well, all the PulseChain really should do well. Pulse in particular's like biggest liquidity pairing is with Ether. And the strategic Ethereum reserve, the RH SAC wallet is just going to go gangbusters. So
the carrot.
That is the carrot. The other thing that's interesting about that is apparently there was about $5 million worth of, I think it was tornado cashed Ethereum that had come through the bridge, and people were speculating that Ethereum, maybe was RH or something like that. But it just has been sitting on the sidelines. Like it hasn't actually rotated into Pulse or anything. So there's literally $5 million just sitting there. Maybe it was in stables, but I thought it was in ETH. But a lot of people tried to front run, because when all that value was being bridged in, a lot of people tried to front run by buying up the charts. And then when it didn't buy, it sold back down. So maybe that was the intention, was to just bridge it in, let the people who front run it sell it back down, and then pump it when they're ready. But yeah, there's $755 million sitting in the PulseChain treasury, and it it's up what, $127 million? Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Jeez. So, that's a lot of $5 million clips, just not even the principal, like just in the appreciation, like on the cost basis. So yeah, people, I don't know, people are fading it. I don't know why. They just can't see, you know, they can't see the potential.
And that's not something that's existed in crypto before, is to have a kitty like that. Usually we have the founders dumping tokens to pay for what they're doing or their lifestyle or their business, like XRP in them. So we have something like that just sitting there.
Exactly. I mean, it's unique. And I think that's why you see such huge followings of, you know, Richard Hart assets and, you know, people doing conferences and making T-shirts. I mean, if it was just a CD, right? If it was just a certificate of deposit from a bank, like choose your bank, like maybe for Australia, like would be like the Commonwealth Bank or something. But if it's like in America, maybe the Bank of America or whatever, you're not going to see anyone getting a certificate of deposit at their local bank and then rocking like a Bank of America T-shirt and then doing like a conference to talk about their certificate of deposit. Like, you just, it's Richard Hart that people are believing in, and that's the meme, right? Like that's the speculation vehicle, is that people actually have faith that he's a benevolent founder, and that you know, maybe he likes to buy things that he likes, maybe some of the things that he owns, maybe he has in the past, and maybe you might do it again in the future. And that's your edge, that's your speculation.
Also, if you look in history, almost, you know, maybe I'm naive and it's only my history that I've been reading, but it appears to me that cooperatively, like I like co-op. That's one of the reasons I like Vouch, is it's a co-op token, but it doesn't involve humans, which is great. But benevolent dictators have done a lot better in business, especially with new innovation, than trying to get a collaborative group growing to actually maneuver. And this is why I think PulseChain's better than Ethereum, is just because that ability. And we also have them proving the code first. So, you know, it's why PulseChain is my choice of venue for layer one.
Yeah. I think that's one of the advantages of the pump tires thing, is that at least you know that that code isn't malicious. Like you can trust that those memes that have come from a legit source. I just saw Tom Gillespie in the chat. What is up, Tom? G'day, mate.
G'day.
And I have been chatting to him in the sort of DMs. He might come on at some point. So these guys, he's doing some sort of collective for filmmakers, and it's this Indican. Is it okay? Indican.com. Maybe I can just go to that. It might explain it better, and maybe we get him on to actually explain. Oh, the site doesn't work. Oh no, it's just taking its time. So yeah, we'll get Tom to come on and actually chat about it a little bit better. But yeah, they've definitely there's some sort of filmmaker token index. There you go. And I think they're trying to encourage people to do filmmaking, to create films and to create content. So Toby's in there. But yeah, Georgia, of course, a few people we know. So that'd be interesting to see, what's cooking there. And they seem to have their own tokens as well. So I'm not quite sure. I don't know enough about it. But certainly, they're encouraging people to create content. And I'm not sure if it's going to be on PulseChain. I don't know how they're going to create the film. Maybe it's just the tokens and then that are on PulseChain. But yeah, anyway, get Tom to come on at some point and explain it to us, because he's actually got a really good insight into meme coins as well, because of his docos that he's done.
His humor is great too.
Yeah. It's a very dry, very deadpan kind of humor. I didn't really get it to begin with, and I was like, I don't know, is this guy funny or not? And then after a while, I was like, yeah, he's pretty funny.
It takes me a while sometimes, I'm not going to lie, and I find myself chuckle a few seconds after I watch something or hear him talk.
There's another guy who does it really well. I think he's Luigi something, and it's like it's like he started this a combative kind of beef with the Tang gang, and it was like, the Wuji gang, and his humor, man, like it's very similar. I hope Tom Gillespie has like a collab with him, because it's very dry. And he did this whole thing about how there was this guy. It's this elaborate story. I don't know if you've seen it. And it's about like this guy, Slime Whale, who like he's like talks for ages about how it's like he grows up knowing this guy, ends up fucking his sister. And it's like, it goes for ages. And it's like, and then he like, I think it's the whole story is made up, right? But then he went into like a jiu-jitsu like training thing with this guy, Slime Whale, who literally chokes him out like on stream, like on camera, and he like chokes him out unconscious. And then he's wearing like a neck brace, and he's saying about how this guy fucked his sister for ages, and I swear the whole thing is just fabricated. But people are just in the comments just, oh, I can't believe this guy choked you out, and I can't believe he did that to your sister, and all this sort of stuff. And it's like, he was wearing a Luigi like costume well at the time. Like, I think it's a joke. So I don't know, it is one of those things where you're kind of going, is this guy just making jokes, or is this for real? Anyway, watch it out, check it out in your own time. It's like a train wreck. You can't look away.
That's good.
Wasn't Tom working with Proof of No Work and Rob Scammer impersonating Richard's brother, selling coins and saying it was the roommate? What? Don't know, bro. I doubt it. Tom seems like a nice guy, but Proof of No Work, I do know that name. Rob Scammer. Yeah, I mean, so that's another guy. There's that Richard Hart's brother. And it's like this guy, Rob or whatever, he just claims to be Richard Hart's brother. But like, that's a classic example of people literally thinking that this guy thinks that he is Richard Hart's brother, or is that he's claiming it. But it's like, it's a joke, people. He's clearly not Richard Hart's brother. Like, it's jokes. Like, you need to just chill out and have a laugh. I don't think anyone really thinks that this Rob guy is actually Richard Hart's brother, even though he makes up these wild stories about what, Richard Hart did all this stuff to him when he was a kid. I mean, that's not for me. Like, I don't find that guy funny. Richard Hart, was it Rob? Rob?
Yeah, I think so.
But, yeah, and he was impersonating. I mean, you don't have to buy the token, right? Like, you don't have to buy the Richard Hart's brothers token. You can just laugh at it or not laugh at it. And then he was saying he was selling coins and saying it was his roommate. Yeah, like, I don't know.
It seems like part of the joke. It just seems
it's a meme. Like, it's a joke.
Yeah.
Like, these are not serious people, and they're not serious like financial instruments. So
yeah,
you probably shouldn't
treat them as such, right?
Yeah, treat them accordingly.
It's a joke. There's real financial, but like, that's the point.
Yeah. Insert sense of humor here.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do it so well. I must admit, like, maybe sometimes I feel like I'm a little bit on the spectrum or whatever, where I'm like,
I'm gullible.
Joking, or am I tarded? Like, what is going on here? But yeah, it's just their humor. It takes a while. Look, it's not for everyone. I think it's funny. But yeah, is there anything else going on in Hexaco? Just people in the chat, just chiming in. Teddy Bear. So just out of interest, because your handle is Teddy Bear, let's look at the Teddy Bear chart, because I haven't seen it for a while. And I know that there was a whole bunch of hoo-ha with, remember Moon King sold his Teddy Bear, and then because the Atropa guy was dumping it, and it's a bit days of our lives for me. But I mean, I think just buy HEX. But let's have a look. So if you look at the core coins, just real quick, HEX is up 4%. And yeah, we're nearly at 1.1 cents. So light your candles if you've got them. Oh, EHEX is up 20% for the day. Nice. Let's go. Okay, let's look at some meme coins. So this Peacock thing was the Liberty Swap guys, right?
I think so.
This, oof. You got to be careful with these charts, hey, when they do these double top things. I mean, they said that they were literally selling this, so I guess we can't, you can't say too much, but that chart does not look great. Liberty Swap, don't come at me. Yeah, so this was the original teddy bear, and this chart looks like junk as well. I think Moon King sold all of this. It was my understanding after the Atropa guys were dumping it because of the PDI fiasco. Oh yeah, that's what these red wicks are. Yeah, I mean, it's in a wicked downtrend. Not sure. What else we got? Ratch BTC. I liked the idea of this. Not from the PDI, like, you know, let's all peg everything to everything. But just the fact that it does have inherent scarcity because there was only so much wrapped BTC on Ethereum at the time of the fork. So yeah, I mean, people like scarce things. I mean, that wick was crazy, down to $300, and now it's up to $660. Could be seeing a bit of a turnaround there. I wonder what the MACD is doing. It's already kind of started to recover. But yeah, a lot of the PRC 20s got wrecked. And I think the Atropa coins, I don't know if they're going to be able to come back from that, you know. Glitter Pants, you know, max dumping on live on stream, but maybe they will. Still in a downtrend. Maybe bounced off some support here. Might be going back. Well, let's see if it can make a higher low. But there's certainly support there. Oh, okay. It's basically at 10 cents or just under is the support. So it's at 10.8 cents at the moment. So yeah, I don't know. Put it in the chat if you want me to look at anything. Oh, here we go. PTGC. That should be on my list. Here we go. I wouldn't mind looking at SolidX, and I think there's that X game because I think that's coming out. So let's look at PTGC. So this is the Gray's currency. I mean, it's really easy to do. Like I can do TA super quick. Hey, like I can just look at a chart and be like, "Oh, goddamn." A lot of people will say good things, but until you get this 10 MA crossed over the 20 and then the price above both, I still think it's not in an uptrend. The MACD has front run it, so maybe it is about to go into an uptrend here. And certainly, I think I called this pretty hard as well because I remember looking at this hitting these fib levels and sort of saying, "Ooh," when it had crossed over the 20 MA there, and I was like, "Oh, I don't like the risk reward here," and it's gone down ever since. And I've seen a lot of people shilling it on the way down, so maybe they just have bag bias. Okay, now they've actually read this comment from Hans. Thank you. If it can get to 300 million, surely Vouch can too. So that's interesting. So you're talking about market cap. The Gray's currency market cap is 117 million and Vouch market cap is 7 million. Well, that would be
That'd be
fairly
sweet.
serious change. Yeah, maybe. I mean, you got to be a little bit careful because, I mean, we talked about this. Why I think the vouch token had a really good launch, but there was that. Is it the Fitzgerald Company TCF? A lot of people shielded this to me like hard, right? And they were sort of going, it's the future of finance. And I was like, bro, this is some sort of parabola right here, some sort of crazy parabola. And it had a little bit of a P GIF look about it, if you know what I mean. Do you guys remember that P GIF?
Yeah, that's the one with the Icosa and all that. Is that the one?
No, this is a different one. So
wasn't that the spinning wheel? Gifford Tech?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
That.
That
I didn't realize it had Icosa stuff behind it, but yeah.
That's that was my first getting into a token that, because of so many old OGs were involved in it. And that one, I wish they would have said that. Hey, it's not running anymore. I thought that wasn't handled very well.
Look, that was a shit show. But
this token
anyway,
here, like if you put
I
it
don't
on
know
log,
what happens.
Well, if you put it on log, I can help you out on this token. And
oh, bro, the log cope. I can't handle the log.
No, I wouldn't normally. No, I wouldn't normally, because I'm with you on that. I understand what you're saying, but in this particular situation, it looked like somebody, like they had their base and their base is holding. Like if you see the base is holding. Now, I don't own the token anymore. I recommended it at a point, and I also said, hey, on Corey's show, I said that, hey, we're at a point where somebody put in $100. They have like $12,000, $15,000, $20,000 worth. So you're going to see people that once we have somebody double the price again, they're going to be dumping. That's exactly what happened. You had a whale come in, double the price, and then people jumped in after, and then he pulled out. That's typical. That's how charts get taken over. So even if somebody has good intentions, they have to manage the chart. They have to be able to sell this guy out. When they see someone like that buy, they need to dump. And that's what you would do if you were a big trader for big America Bank and something like that. You would actually go, oh, we've got somebody trying to get involved here and he's going to be malicious. Let's put him in a negative position right away. And that's why you can't say we're never going to sell. That means you need to manage that chart. And I don't know if that's what they're doing, but that's something that needs to be done.
Someone obviously had a large portion of the supply, though, to be able to dump the chart that badly. So I'm not sure what happened there, but
yeah, I meant the guys down below. It went up so high, and now they got freaked out. So they're seeing what was $100 was 17 grand, and now is only worth 8. So all of a sudden, that's how you start tipping the chart and making these people panic, because they see what their money's worth, but there's not enough liquidity to pull that kind of money out if everybody did it.
Yeah, look, this is the game, right? Like you say, these guys were up. Holy shit, they were up 10,000%.
That's my point. So you put $100 and you got huge money. So if all of a sudden they saw their chart going the other way, they're going to panic. And this is what happens with all crypto.
Yeah,
that's why it's hard. That's why Vouch needs to be careful too, because if you get too excited, too many people come on, you get that spike, and then these people start bailing because they got too much money. And if they get scared, it goes the other way, they panic. But these guys are holding it. I'm impressed with. I'm watching to see whether they can manage this position, and that's something to actually.
Well, look, I hope it works out for them.
Yeah, I'm cheering them on.
I hope it works out, and like we say, even keep in mind with the vouchers done really well. But once people start getting 100x's, they're not going to hold forever. No one wants to round trip. So, and then once you see a big whale sell, then I think that's when you start to see these things break down a little bit. No one wants to be the first person, but then I think then you will see something. But hopefully, in terms of the launch, see, I don't know how this Fitzgerald Company thing launched. Really, maybe it had a really fair launch as well, but certainly the batch one did as well. So I thought maybe now I'm going to have to put this on log to give any kind of cope on this one. geez, this just went worse than I thought. Is this right? This is Briar. Oh my God. What happened here? So whenever I see this lower high, like a dead cat bounce, it's like, it's over. Just so if anyone is wondering, I'm just like, and your money's gone. Like from here, like I don't think you need to ride this down from.
So you see from the 2 to the 5 on your, I don't know where that is, way at the left. That's where I'm in, and that's when I'm out. So the first peak, way down, I'm already out down.
Oh, you bought and sold down here?
That's where good. I would be out, and then I don't care about the rest anymore because I know it's coming back down again. There's just not enough.
It's just about controlling that initial supply, I think.
That's it.
Because I think
that's
at some point you have to put this supply into hands of the people that aren't going to dump, because otherwise you get this. So anyway, Solid X, seeing as though we're talking about coins that I've round tripped. No, I didn't do that badly with Solid X, but geez, I did ride this up like hard. This is actually like taking a really sad turn, this this stream. These are coins that I could have made me substantially more richer. But yeah, I thought the Fire Whale was gonna like buy this chart up hard, and he did, I think, but I don't know what happened. And it's just been kind of grinding sideways. But then this X game token came out. So this did a big pump during the week, I think. So this was I think this is I don't know enough. Maybe True Blue or someone might be able to tell me. I didn't mention True Blue actually said a g'day in the chat earlier. So g'day to True Blue if you're listening. But he's just part of the furniture here, so I almost didn't mention him. But yeah, True Blue knows a bit about, I think, this stuff. I think they finally got like an international gaming license or something. Maybe that was the reason for this pump, or the game is coming out or something. 82% pump.
Oh, let's hope it holds.
In like 3 days. Yeah. Interesting. Look, I think sometimes people just front run events. So maybe the game's about to be launched, and so that people are buying it, and then maybe it'll dump on the actual game launch. Not quite sure. I noticed with the blood moon that we had during the week, a lot of people sort of saying, oh, it's going to go down, and the blood moon is the end of, the cycle and all this sort of stuff. And it's like, do you remember the previous blood moon that we had in April or whatever? It bled down for like 2 weeks prior. And then from the blood moon onwards, it went up because people priced in what they perceived to be a negative event. And they sold the rumor, and then they bought the news once the negative event happened, and it went up. And that's exactly what it did again this time. So I think people think that maybe that there's some sort of supernatural thing going on with like the moon and like, but it's just humans speculating and front running events. That's all it is. Sorry to be that, to break it down like that. But I think, unfortunately, a lot of this stuff is just people trying to take the asymmetric upside, the edge of some sort of knowledge, speculate that the price will be higher in the future, and then sell when that event eventuates. And that's all it is. No more complicated and no less. Oh, here we go. Questions. What are your thoughts on GameFi tokens, the rest of the run? I have an interesting theory that there's not enough liquidity, or however you think of it, economic energy in crypto anymore, because there's so many coins. So originally there was fewer coins, so it was easier to pump some of these things, right? Now you have almost industries like taking turns. So there will be like an AI meme coin run, and I think there will be a GameFi meme coin run?
The
Like,
hard thing with games is they're expensive to make, more expensive than a DApp probably. Depends on the game and how it works. Like if it's a 3D world, that's a lot, and it can take 3 years to make. And
Yeah,
you're going to
wow, yeah.
launch. You can launch your token, and people get pretty sick or forget about it or whatever by the time that the actual game is out. So the distance between when you launch the token and when you release the game, or at least some playable version of it,
Yes.
can be quite ridiculous, and it doesn't quite
because software is hard, right? Yeah,
it doesn't quite fund the development, because there has been so many great looking games that I was like, yeah, man, I'm gonna live in this universe, right? And like I see it all the time is they just die. They launch a token, and then they're just running on fumes for like 2 years after like the initial hype is dead, and then they die and the game never comes out. I'm like, well, who wins?
This is exactly what we were just talking about, right? Like, so in this sort of era of attention economy, and then people front running events, if you have the token launch and then there's the hype about the game that's about to come out, that's actually when people have the most dopamine. That's when they're buying, because they're excited.
And it will always be a disappointment. I don't know if there is a game release that hasn't been some sort of disappointment, because like it releases in a shosty state, right? Like No Man's Sky is a perfect example. Everyone hated that when it came out because it didn't live up to the marketing, and like however many years on it is now, it lives up to what it initially set out to do, because it takes so long to make and render and design a 3D world.
Exactly. So look, I think these things, GameFi, I mean, you have to be specific, right? So say, for example,
there's like gambling games. They could
work.
So
that's it. I mean, that gambling game, that's what that X game thing is. I think it's some sort of casino game. Yeah, through SolidX. So it's like casino gambling on the blockchain. But in terms of like, cool. So like, it's certainly got a market. People like to gamble.
Yeah, no, there is always somebody who wants to gamble. Like whatever game you got, like blackjack, poker, people love that.
Yeah, exactly.
I advise against it most of the time, but it's fun.
Sure. But it's entertainment. And so like this Gala token, this was like a big player like back in previous cycles, and it's down like, I don't even want to price this in terms of Bitcoin, but it's down just as much as as everyone else. It's down 70%, and it's probably down 95% versus BTC. So GameFi, I mean, I think it will pump, and certain coins will pump, but it's a meme. It's a short-term speculative play, and they're doomed to go down like everything else. So, but so you might find, so I just wouldn't sit in them for long periods of time. Then at some point, it decentralized, what's it called? A sand token or something like that. That'll probably go up, and it'll be the biggest thing. And you'll hear Rand talking about it as he dumps on your head on banter or crypto banter. But then give it 2 weeks and it will be the AI stuff, and they'll be talking about FET again, and it will be AI tokens and blah, blah, blah. And I think what happens is, you get this rotation from different, I call them industries, but whatever you want to call them, different corners of the crypto sort of risk world, and that will take turns, because there's only so much economic energy, and you can only pump, and people rotate from one meme to another, and it's the attention economy. So people get bored. They have low, in this sort of TikTok generation, the younger generations have very low attention spans, so they move on to something else. So in terms of answering the question, I know people think I'm crazy saying this, but I think NFTs will have a small run at some point. Yeah, they will, and that's how it's the top again, when you start getting ether rocks being worth $10 million and all this sort of stuff, where literally just JPEGs of a rock are worth $10 million.
And celebrity endorsements.
And it's and the celebrity coins, they're all gonna come out of the woodwork. I mean, that's how you don't know. That's how you know we're also not in the top, right? There's no euphoria. There's no just crime just going on where they're just people
blatant,
egregious. Exactly.
Money laundering
and egregious money laundering. That's exactly what it is. Where they've been just trading JPEGs of rocks and selling them for $10 million a pop.
It happens in real art too, though.
Oh yeah, and we can go into that in greater detail. But they have those tax haven free ports. If you look into that stuff, and I mean, if you know the artists, and or if you can value art you just printing a check, right? Because you're saying, oh, this art is worth this many dollars, and then it's a way of laundering monies. But a lot of businesses are like, maybe as I'm getting older, I'm just getting more skeptical. But if you walk through like some dodgy like mall or something, like the equivalent of like a markets or something, it's like, what does this business do? Import, export. That sounds a little vague. Meth lab, and then you go to the next one. These guys, what do they sell? They sell what are those Karate Kid trees? The bonsai trees. And you're just like, is there a huge market for bonsai? This guy's got a pretty big business.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He's
and then
breaking it in. Or you go to a bar or a pub and there's no one there, but it's like fully staffed, and it's like on a like prime real estate location, and you're just like,
exactly,
what's going on here? Do you guys advertise?
Sometimes I just see places that just sell kayaks or something, and I'm like, kayaks? And they're like, do you want to buy a kayak? And I'm thinking, not really. How many kayaks do you sell a day? Why is there so many?
Like in like, there's a place. There's foot traffic for kayaks. It does exist.
They're not all. They can't.
You need to be like on a riverfront or like a.
Yeah, exactly. I just, sometimes I just wonder, like, wow, these guys, they're here all day, every day, and their business model is they just sell like nails. It's like a nail, like attachments or something. I'm thinking, the profit margin, like how many nails do you have to sell to be able to pay all these workers and like the lease? Maybe it's just me, but I'm just walking around going, this is all.
Maybe we're all in the wrong business. A nail extension, whatever. Like, that's where it is at.
Washing money is a big job.
I am starting to think that it's more prevalent.
It's hard work.
Than we think.
It's hard work. This day.
But then look, you look at the government and you look at all the contracts that they give out and the military and how much money that they spend, and they just go, you purchase
to
orders.
The politicians, like friends who also run businesses, to contract and consult and do the things. And then the politicians, when they're done and retire, they get a cushy job in some massive industrial corporation. It's like, they regulated those guys, and now he works there.
Exactly. And that company was offshore and they didn't pay any tax. And then now he works for them. That's a coincidence. And,
how serendipitous.
Yeah, wow. That's interesting.
Usually the ex-prime ministers and presidents of countries do that.
Yeah, that's so scary when you see
all
them.
our politicians.
They're all,
do it. They all do it. They're all now, anyone who's retired is now working in some massive industrial, very high up, because they were regulating them. They know them very well.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's just corruption everywhere. And anywhere that there's money.
And so the Roman Empire collapses.
So, yeah, just don't look too deep, bros. Like, just don't look too close at the thin veneer of
crypto.
Everything is under control.
Hiding the corruption. That is our world.
Frail.
Yeah, they think crypto is a scam. Fuck, don't get me started. Everything's a Ponzi, like literally everything. So yeah, so maybe some of these coins can go well. Yes, that's what I'm saying. If I circle back to that, maybe Mana can have it stay in the sun, but a lot of this stuff is like they have their turn. So yeah. Veneer is right. That's right. It is a thin veneer. You don't want to look too close.
Paper thin.
Because look, I've done stuff for the military and things like that, and it is crazy when you see just they have no concept of how much things cost.
No,
You
the
know,
blank checks, right? And
just
so the nails cost the military like hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's like nails.
I
Or
don't want to.
screws.
Yeah, I can't talk about it too much, but it's
No,
like
I'm not. I'm speculating.
yeah, for like speculation purposes, I'm saying that sometimes they can be out by orders of magnitude. So it's like, how much does this job cost? You know, is it $1,000 job? Is it a 10,000 job or 100,000 job? And they really have no idea. Like they're like sort of, it's one of those. And you're like, how can you be so far, like an order of magnitude, like plus or minus? Like you must have, you must know how much this thing is worth, right? And they're like, well, yeah, I'm pretty sure.
We pay the consultant we paid, who also works for the company that we're about to purchase, advised that we should
that we should
all our money on it.
And they'll like machine like an entire thing, a billet of steel, and they'll machine the whole thing out. And they're like, yeah, this enclosure costs, you know, $700,000. And you're like, are you serious? You know, you paid whatever, like $100,000 for an enclosure, or you know,
or the machete bins
$50,000
that cost
going,
the same as some sort of, I think it was like a, there was a sports car that was identical to the price of the machete bins that we ended up paying for in Victoria.
Oh yeah, and wasn't Dan Andrews or something behind that as well, like the company?
I don't know.
No, it was those machete bins. Yeah,
Dan Andrews, Dandrews. The get on your beers.
Anyway, we can't.
Yeah,
you know, we're
machete
speculating.
bin?
Maybe he may or may not have been. Yeah, that was their solution. Duke, if you're not aware, there was like a whole bunch of people getting macheted in like Victoria or whatever.
We imported the third world for context, right? We just did that.
Okay,
and so
I wasn't.
Solve
I don't
that
live in that
problem of
state. So I don't know. But there was a machete epidemic going on in because we don't have guns, right? In Victoria, and then so their solution was, I think they had machete bins where you could just like the honor system that you could put your machetes in the bin.
It's called a machete amnesty bin.
Oh. It's not like the old days of giving your guns to the sheriff when you came to town. These guys actually are doing this with nobody.
Yeah.
So the bad people just basically have the machetes. Is that how it ends up?
Well, we never had a machete problem, right?
We never had
go
machetes to begin with.
And get one, and now you can't.
The machete pandemic. Yeah.
It's just the wielders of said machetes seem to be hellbent on macheteing.
Look, if they're just machete aficionados and they're just like a good as machete.
I think the only person who actually put them in the bin were like machete collectors who were like, these are my prized possessions, right? they've never left my house.
Antique military machetes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a bit of a farce. And so those bins were like, they cost some ridiculous amount. So they even rorted like their shitty attempt to solve the problem. They then charged, you know, like $10 million for these machete bins or whatever. That's so funny. So yeah, what is up, DJ Cryptomatic? The Duke is on the show. Yes, indeed. Shout out to you, sir. You've been putting in some time on the tables, doing some good party tunes. So that's awesome. Amazing backdrop. Yes. There you go. Crocodile Dundee. That's how we roll around here. Oh, thanks, Chris. Move forward. That's wicked. Yeah, look, we try and have a laugh. When price is down, we've been streaming for nearly 100 episodes, and so we've been through this whole bear market. We've just had to entertain each other, having a bit of a laugh, and it's been great to have you know, all the chat and everyone there sort of joining in with us. And now I hope going into Q4 that we're going to start to see some awesome price action, and we can start to celebrate. That would be my hope anyway. Did you guys want to say? Oh yeah, I think we're due. Did you guys want to say anything before we wrap it up? Duke.
Oh, I do have a question. You play? Is that musical stuff in the back? You play an instrument of some sort? Do you?
Me?
Yeah.
I do. I play guitar.
Okay.
I've been playing guitar for a long time.
Shred.
Yeah, heavy metal. I'm a heavy metal guitar player, and I play piano, and yeah, that's basically me. But I think Bass Radiant, you muck around with some.
I produce music, like electronic bassy stuff is what I describe it now. They're like, "What music are you into?" And I'm just like, bass, like heavy drum and bass, dubstep, and like modern permutations on that.
Okay. Yeah, I do like
Why
dubstep
do you ask?
quite a bit. I'm just always curious. Music's a thing I just love. I'm not gifted really in the field. I play, but
I think everyone likes music. It's a bringer togetherer.
Yeah, I enjoy playing music. I play piano a lot. I love I just make up shit and have fun, and I can play like just like jamming by myself, you know.
Nice. Yeah, piano is good for composition, and believe it or not, DJ Crypto, heavy metal and piano, like it does go together because
rock opera.
A lot of heavy metal that has neoclassical like shred, like you're shredding arpeggios and things like that. A lot of that, if you're into classical music, that's where they got all of that stuff from. You might notice. I won't go into it too much, but yeah, my handle like Yngwie Wild comes from Yngwie Malmsteen and Zach Wild, which is if you watch Zach Wild, he's like plays in Pantera, but he plays in a lot of other his own metal bands, and but he plays piano, man, and he'll play some real soulful stuff on the piano as well. So being able to do that composition with piano, understanding classical music and doing composition, it certainly helps with heavy metal. But yeah, and was in Aussie, yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, Zach Wild, like Ozzy Osbourne. So, but just currently touring with Pantera, and I think with Metallica, the new version of Pantera is touring with Metallica, which I'm going to see in November. So I'm not sure if they'll be the support, but that would be awesome. I've actually met Zach Wild, and I've met the guys from Metallica, and I've seen so many bands. It's not funny, but that's probably for another time. Let's rock on. Let everyone enjoy their weekend, and thanks for everyone in the chat, and thanks Duke of Booze for coming on. Good to chat to you, and Bass Radiant, of course, always a pleasure.
Yeah,
nice to meet both of you in person. It was
it was.
I
great
enjoyed
to meet
it
you
a lot.
Awesome. Well, thanks, chat and Replay Gang, and we'll see you next time for the 100th episode of the Happy Hour. So make sure you tune in for that. I don't know what we've got in plan, like in store for that, but I'm sure it will be epic. Cool. All right. Thanks, guys. Rock on. Enjoy your weekend.